Welcome students. In today's session we will be studying about political science chapter 4 understanding law. Introduction. By now you must have known that the parliament is in charge of making laws. In chapter 3rd we studied about parliament and it has three organs such as Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and the president. In Lok Sabha new laws are made which passed by the both the houses as well as president. Hence we used to say parliament is in charge of making laws. Understanding laws, you will find the answers to questions such as, do laws apply to everyone? How do new laws come into being? Could there be laws that are unpopular or controversial? And what should we as citizens do under such circumstances? So all these questions answers we are going to get from this chapter. Let's begin the chapter. First of all, what are laws? Laws means in simple terms set of rules. The system of rules which a particular country or community recognizes as regulating the actions of its members and which it may enforce by the imposition of penalties. Such as our country governed by the set of rules which included in the constitution, if any person which go against such rules or laws is punishable. Do laws apply to all? Yes, laws are applied to all. How? We will see. The law cannot discriminate between the persons on the basis of their religion, caste or gender. It means that the laws are there which are equal to all. Means there is no discrimination between the person based on the gender, religion, caste. Gender means male or female, means there is no separate law to the female or to the male or to the Hindu or Muslim or Sikh or Gujarati, etc. Or caste means such as higher caste or lower caste as the people considered. So there the law which cannot discriminate between the persons. What the rule of law? Rule of law means is that all laws apply equally to all citizens of the country and no one can be above the law. Means no one can be above the law. Everybody purpose equal laws. That is called as the rule of law. Neither a government official nor a wealthy person nor even the president of the country is above the law. Nobody is above the law. Everybody purpose, even president, even prime minister, even the representative, MPs, nobody is above the law. Any crime or violation of law has a specific punishment as well as a process through which the guilt of the person has to be established. Any crime, various crimes such as pickpocketing, breaking signals, as well as murder, rape, etc., has a specific punishment. And that punishment, by breaking the laws, the guilt person or the criminal is getting. So, the laws apply to all. Here we can see the image tells us about the nobody is above the law, everybody purpose equal laws. Do laws apply to all? We can see more, we can put more light on this. All persons in independent India are equal before the law. All laws apply equally to all citizens of the country and no one can be above the law, as we studied even the president, even any representative above the law. Nobody is above the law. That means the law cannot discriminate between the persons on the basis of the religion, caste or gender. Any crime or violation of law has a specific punishment. In ancient India, there were innumerable and overlapping local laws which did not apply equally to all. But why? As we know that in ancient India, the society was divided into Varna system, as well as there was casteism was there. That's why there was no equality, no equal treatment for all, or many overlapping local laws were there. The punishment for the same crime varied depending upon their caste background, with lower caste being more harshly penalized or punished. As we studied in standard 6th, Mahar or Dalit caste people, they were severely penalized or punished, even though the same crime purpose, higher caste people, they were lightly punished, or most probably many laws were just only for much punishment which is recognized just for to the lower caste people. So hence in ancient India there was casteism, there was a Varna system, and cause of that there were no equal laws. Members of the Constituent Assembly were agreed there should be no arbitrary exercise of power in independent India. Arbitrary tyrannical power there should be in independent India. To establish a law, they instituted several provisions in the constitution, and for that reason, when the constitution was being drafted, that time members of the Constituent Assembly were agreed that there should be no arbitrary exercise of power in independent India. Hence we can see laws apply to all. Next point, the British colonialist introduced the rule of law in India, but historians have disputed this claim as the colonial law was arbitrary. Now here the meaning of arbitrary, based on the random choice, own choice or personal whim, rather than any reason or system, without any reason, randomly putting any actions on the others. So that is such a type of action called as arbitrary actions. The Indian nationalists played a prominent role in the development of the legal sphere. We can use to say here, these Indian nationalists played a prominent role in legal sphere during the British era. Here you can see the members of the Constituent Assembly as well as Mahatma Gandhi and the other nationalists played prominent role in legal sphere. The British law of the Sedition Act of 1870 set a perfect example of the arbitrariness. Under this act, a person protesting or criticizing the British government could be arrested without due trial, such as Sedition Act of 1870. Like that means, according to this act, any person could be arrested without due trial, such as the another act, Rowlatt Act. According to this act also means allows the British to jail protesters without a trial for up to 2 years. Means according to this Rowlatt Act, any Indian sent to the jail without a trial for 2 years. So such a type of acts were arbitrary acts, means examples of arbitrariness by the Britishers. Indian nationalists began protesting and criticizing the arbitrary use of authority by the British. They began fighting for greater equality and wanted to change the idea of law from a set of rules that they were forced to obey to law as including ideas of justice. Now this is the example of arbitrariness by the Britishers. According to their choice, random choice, they imposed such a type of acts on the Indians. By the end of the 19th century, the Indian legal profession began emerging and demanded respect in colonial courts by using laws to defend the legal rights of the Indians. By the end of the 19th century, where the Indian legal professions began emerging, such as Dr. Ambedkar, such as Mahatma Gandhi, etc., and demanded respect in colonial courts by using laws. Means they rose, Indians, they started raising their voice that the colonial courts also should be means legal rights of the Indians. It can be described in the colonial courts. Indian judges began to play a greater role in decision making. Means Indian judges were also started. Means Indian judges enrollment also began to rose in the decision making process. With the adoption of the constitution, laws for the country began to be made by the representative. After the independence 1947, our representatives, they adopted constitution, and then based on the constitution, our country started to govern. Every year representatives pass new laws. Means every year after electing representatives, they start thinking about the development, and hence the new laws being passed in the parliament by the representatives, as well as revise the existing ones. By some of the changes. Existing laws were revised periodically. Here we can see Hindu Succession Amendment Act 1956. Then in this in this act, we can use to say Revise Act 2005, means Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005, which came into exist. And according to this law, sons, daughters and their mothers can get equal share of family property. Before 2005, means before Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005, family property distributed only among the sons. But after 2005, means after passing this act, family property distributed among the sons as well as daughters and their mothers. Hence, gender justice achieved due to this act. Now, very important point, how do new laws come about? As we know that Parliament has an important role in making laws. Parliament organs. An important role of Parliament is to be sensitive to the problems faced by the people. How new laws come into power? When the people, they faced any problem, then the thinking and discussion takes place on it and new law come into exist. So here an important role of Parliament is to be sensitive to the problems faced by the people, such as the issue of domestic violence was brought to the attention of the Parliament. Such one example like domestic violence and the process adopted for this issue to become law. Here see domestic violence, meaning of domestic violence, the injury or harm caused by an adult male, means husband to his wife. The picture said that the domestic violence means injury or harm which is given by the husband to his wife. So here domestic violence was brought to the attention of the Parliament, and there was new law which new issue which was came into exist. The Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005. There was law which came into exist, and the Domestic Violence Act 2005, it was the name of the act, was implemented to protect women from being abused and injured by male. If husband abused or injured to the woman, then the woman can file complaints in the court or in the police station in the Act, Domestic Violence Act 2005, and the process takes place, means the protection of women getting according to this act. How do new laws come about? When problems are faced by people, they raise the need for a particular law through media like TV channels, newspapers, such as another ways are there, such as dharnas, such as rallies, etc. The citizens play a crucial role in coming of new law. Many a times people they raise their voice in this manner, such as rallies or dharnas, etc., and with the help of that also new law come about. Here in the standard 6th we studied about Civil Rights Act 1964, and the Civil Rights Act pioneer, the female name might be, you have remember Rosa Parks, and Rosa Parks, she was the pioneer of this movement. What was this movement? No segregation in public places, no discrimination in employment based on race, gender or national origin, means based on the color, white or black. And this Civil Rights Act was Civil Rights Acts passed in 1964. So here also people participation, due to this people participation in the process of the movement, act come into exist. So how do new laws come about? Due to the people participation also, we used to say. Now some of the unpopular and the controversial laws. We have studied about how laws are made, but some laws which are unpopular and controversial laws. See here, sometimes the parliament passes law that turn out to be very popular, sometimes sometimes the laws which are made in the parliament, which passes in the parliament, which getting very much popularity, but sometimes a law can be constitutionally valid and legal, sometimes which is legal and valid by the constitution, but it can continue to be unpopular and unacceptable to people. Here see students, any law which are valid and legal but which not acceptable by the people, because they feel that the intention behind it is unfair and harmful. That time the people they can file petition in the court, and if the court is find that there is harm or injustice towards any community, then the laws can be cancelled. People might criticize this law, hold public meetings, write about it in newspaper, report to TV news channels, etc. Means people, if suppose they are not happy with any law, then what they do, they criticize, they started to show their unhappiness towards the law. That's why what they do, they held public meetings, they used to write articles in the newspaper, then report to TV news channels, etc. And with this they show their unhappiness towards a new law, even though that law constitutionally valid and legal also. In democracy, citizens can express their unwillingness to accept repressive laws framed by the parliament. In democracy, people they are having the right to show their unwillingness to accept repressive law framed by the parliament, and hence the people they are using various way to show their unwillingness, such as we talked about dharnas, rallies, candle march, etc. When a large number of people begin to feel that a wrong law has been passed, then there is pressure on the parliament to change it. If the large number of group or mob they feel they refuse to accept a new law, then the law has been which is passed even though in the parliament, which is according to the constitutionally legal or valid, then too there great pressure on the parliament to change it. If the law favors one group and disgrades the other, it will be controversial and lead to conflicts, problems, etc. People who think that the law is not fair can approach the court to decide. If any group of community or people they thought that law is not fair, then they take the help of the court also. The court has the power to modify or cancel law if it finds that they don't adhere to the constitution. See here, my dear students, the court has the power modify as well as cancel the laws, even though that if that law is not linked or valid to the constitution. In the constitution, in India, role of citizens does not end with electing representatives. As we studied in last module that the people they have right to choose their representatives, but here only the people role is not end. People role is not come into we used to say that much only role is not the people. They can analyze the work of the MPs, as well as if they unwillingly any laws they have to accept, then they can criticize by their actions if needed. Therefore, it is stated that people in democratic country have the right to protest against the unjust laws. Hence, in democracy, people role is never ending. Conclusion. It is the extent, involvement and enthusiasm of the people that helps the parliament perform its representatives functions properly. In this module, we studied about the people participation, people enthusiastic participation as well as involvement in the government affairs. That's why the parliament perform its functions properly. We have studied. Now what we have learned from this chapter? So let's summarize the chapter. Laws are necessary to stop unjust and illegal practices. All citizens in India, in independent India, are equal before the law. No one is above the law. The law cannot discriminate between person on the basis of the religion, caste or gender. The colonial law was arbitrary, tyrannical. Rowlatt Act came into effect on 10th March 1919, and this act was one of the good example about the colonial arbitrary. The Indian nationalists played a prominent role in the development of the legal sphere in British India. The parliament has an important role in making laws. The Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act came into effect in 2006. It was drafted in 2005 and it came into effect 2006 onwards. Civil Rights Act also we studied in 1964 prohibited discrimination basis on the race, religion or the national origin in the USA. As well as we studied at the end, the court has the power to modify or cancel law if they don't adhere to the constitution. And with this we are going to conclude the session.